morning, y'all, and welcome to another day in Maine. Today is going to be a bit different from the past few days. We're not going hiking today, at least not this morning. We're going to take a little bit of a break from the sun to let my nose and my scalp recover from the sunburn, and we're going to head into town to do some souvenir shopping. There are a couple of outlets in town as well as some local stores that sell different types of Maine goodies like blueberry treats or candy, things like that, and then there's a bookstore that we're going to try and go to. And later today, I think we're going to head back to Schoodic Point and do some more hiking and maybe have a picnic for dinner. Either way, I can't wait, so let's go ahead and see what happens. All right, first stop of the day, the bean store. Second stop, the barn. After visiting those two stores, we headed over to the Maine's own store to check out some of their homemade edible products. And then we went to grab some lunch at a little place called Helen's. This is in Ellsworth, Maine, a little bit outside of Bar Harbor. I loved the decor. It was very rustic American and very patriotic, as you can see here. For my lunch, I had a sweet chili chicken wrap. I wanted a deviation from seafood. The seafood on this trip was very good, but I'm actually not a huge seafood fan, so I thought I would switch it up a bit with this meal. Hi guys, we are done souvenir shopping and of course we're back out in the wild. Right now we're in Acadia near the Schoodic Point area and we are at this little hike called Raven's Head. It is one of the lesser known hikes, I believe. It's kind of off the beaten path, but the views are definitely worth the hike. So this hike was one of my main reasons for wanting to go to Maine. I had seen a picture of this view in a book and I had to see this. I wanted to go here so badly and I was so thrilled that we were able to make it out here. The weather was perfect on this day. We had such good visibility and the view is just stunning. Again, the water was so clear. You could see the little white cap waves washing over the beach. So many colorful stones. You have the cliffs and the pine trees and the sun on the water. It was just stunning. This is quite a secluded area, so it was nice to feel like we were alone out there. We were just enjoying the peaceful atmosphere and being in nature. This truly was one of my favorite parts of this trip. I would go back here in a heartbeat. On the way home, we stopped at Me and Ben's again for some ice cream, and I got the most aesthetic ice cream cone ever. Good morning, guys, and welcome to our last full day in Maine. I am a little bit sad about that, but I honestly can't be too sad because we've had an amazing trip and it's not over yet. We do have this full day ahead of us and we're going to spend it in our favorite places in Acadia so far. We're going to stop off in Bar Harbor first and do a little bit more shopping, get some lunch to take with us into the park, and then redo our favorite hikes. It's a little cloudy right now. The sun is supposed to come out, which I really hope it does because the views are just unbelievable when the sun is on the water and everything. So I'm really hoping we'll get to see that one more time. And then we have a couple of different ideas about what we're going to do for sunset views, maybe. I think we're going to play it by ear, especially with the weather, but it should be a good day no matter what. I have got my hiking hair activated, so I'm just going to throw on a couple layers since it is pretty chilly outside, and then we will hit the road. Here's the current view of Bar Harbor. It was really foggy this morning and it's starting to lift now that the sun's coming out. But it looks amazing out here. And there's Balance Rock with the fog in the background. After checking out Balance Rock, we did just a little bit of souvenir shopping, which I'll talk more about later, and we had to stop at Downeast Deli to get our lunch for the day. For us, it was impossible to go to Bar Harbor and not go to this restaurant. And then we headed up to the top of Cadillac Mountain again. This was just an unbelievable view. It was beautiful the other day, but getting to see it with the fog over everything in the bay and surrounding the islands and floating around in the little dips and valleys, it really was stunning. And again, I was so glad we got to see it on a clear day and then we got to see it on a foggy day. I don't know how many people get the chance to see this view from two completely different perspectives, but I felt pretty lucky that we got to. I'm not sure which is my favorite. I think they are both really beautiful in different ways. You can see the fog over those two islands right there, where it sort of rolls over them. And then it extends all the way out to see over here. Amber, say hi. Here I am eating my Thanksgiving sandwich once again. Of course, I had to get this. I miss this sandwich so much. And then for dessert, I had a classic Wicked whoopie pie. These are apparently quite popular in this area of Maine, and I'm a big fan of whoopie pies, so I decided to try this one. It was good, not quite as good as the homemade one I'd had before, but for a pre-made treat, honestly, it was pretty impressive. We are back at the Bass Harbor Head Lighthouse because I had a lot of fun climbing on the rocks here, and we're going to do that again. So there's the lighthouse, and here's all the rocks and the view. So we came down that staircase way over there, and we walked all the way to right here. And the lighthouse is just behind me. Next stop, we are doing the Ship Harbor Trail one more time because we all agreed it's our favorite. So here we are back at our favorite trail of the entire trip. It was not very crowded this day at all, and the weather was perfect, so we felt like, again, we had just lucked out so much with this trail on this day. After the same short little hike as we did the other day, we got out to the rocks and we had a beautiful vantage point of everything. The water was just a little bit more rough than it had been on our previous trip, so we did get to see some waves crashing, and we had that ambiance in the background as we were relaxing. This is our last hike of the trip, and what a great one. I could not have asked for a better way to end that trip. This was the official last thing we did in Acadia. It gave us the option just to relax and enjoy each other's company and play on the rocks. And trust me, we enjoyed every moment of it. Me and Amber are sitting out here enjoying our favorite place in Acadia. There's some ducks in front of us. After leaving Acadia, we headed back into Bar Harbor to catch the sunset, and also because we were going to walk out to Bar Island again, we decided to stop off in Agamont Park and finish up our lunch. So we had dinner with a view. I was finishing up my sandwich from earlier in the day. I don't think I mentioned this, but the portions from Downeast Deli are very generous. I could not finish that sandwich in one sitting. Try. Okay. Good afternoon, folks. We are in Bar Harbor, again, walking to Bar Island. This is going to be the last part of our last day in Maine. This is the last thing we're doing. We had our little picnic in the park, as you saw, while we were waiting for the tide to go down. And now it is about time for the gravel bar to be exposed. So we're going to head over there, and Amber is here. Hello. So we'll see y'all over there. This walk to Bar Island was very similar to the first one, except the tide had not been out for quite as long at this point, so there was some more water standing on the path. It was not a problem though. My hiking boots are waterproof, so I was prepared, and we were still able to enjoy ourselves, get some beautiful views, check out the different seashells, and just have a nice evening stroll with a little bit of a twist, since we were walking from the land to an island, which is not something I get to do every day, so I thought it was pretty special. Alright guys, as you can see, I am back home for the night. If I look a little bit tired and windswept, it's because I spent the entire day almost out in the woods, but it was so worth it. It was a great day, as you guys saw. And to wrap up the day and this vlog, I'm going to give you guys a little haul of the souvenirs I got on this trip. I got quite a few. I didn't realize I got this many things, so let's jump right in. First up, I have two t-shirts that I got. Here's t-shirt number 1, which I think has huge Schlee energy. I'm very excited to wear this one. And here's the second one. It's very simple. It just has this little bit of embroidery on the front, and the back is plain, but I absolutely loved this color, this nice purple. I don't have anything in this shade of purple, and the embroidery with the sickle moon is just speaking to me. And I also like that it's Maine themed. It's not Acadia themed, just good old Maine. At the store where I got the t-shirts, I also got a couple things for Amber. She wanted 2 postcards for her postcard collection. And these are just beautiful, especially this one. This one's my favorite. And Amber also likes to read just like me, and she wanted this bookmark, which is just so cute. And this is a wooden bookmark, which I don't think she has, or she may have one or two of them, but this is nice. It's different from the normal paper or plastic bookmarks. Next up, we have several edible gifts. You guys know that I love my food, and when I travel to different places, I like to try the local foods. So here, that includes things like this Old Soaker soda. This is in the blueberry flavor. And as you guys may remember from earlier in the vlog, Old Soaker is a rock that's out in Frenchman Bay, or I guess it's kind of like a small island, but this soda is named after that land formation. Next, we got this Captain Eli's Strawberry Pop, as they call it, and I love the logo. Do you guys see it? It's this little boy in a captain's uniform. It is so cute. And again, I just wanted to get this because it was local, and I don't think I've ever had a strawberry soda. The last drink I got is this can of Moxie soda, and this is actually the state drink of Maine, which I think is pretty interesting. Never had this again, but when we were buying it, the cashier was talking about it, and she said that it tastes like old medicine. So I'm expecting it to have a very herbal sort of flavor, but we will see when I actually get to taste it. The next food item is these chocolate-covered wild Maine blueberries. Amber wanted to try these, so we got this little pack of them. I also picked up this no sugar added wild blueberry spread. I think the little jar is so cute, and we have a couple other blueberry items, so I wanted to get a smaller jar of this. They had bigger ones, but I wanted to get a small jar just to taste pretty much. And I like that this one is no sugar added, so you'll really get the blueberry flavor in this one. The last two things in this little portion of the haul are these 2 jars of mustard. We have a spicy horseradish mustard, spicy horseradish mustard. And we also have a sweet and spicy mustard. And we got these just because they look really good, and the deli that we've been eating at, Downeast Deli, uses these types of mustard, and the sandwiches there are so delicious. So we got these to bring home and make our own sandwiches, and hopefully they'll have a little bit of that Downeast flavor. Next, I have 2 more t-shirts. I got these earlier in the trip a few days ago, I think. Here is the first one. It's this gorgeous vintage looking design and this really thick, almost denim-like t-shirt material. It's really nice. I've never seen a t-shirt like this before. And I got this one for me and Amber to share because we both really like this design. Amber got this next t-shirt just for herself, but I want to show y'all because it's really cool. It just says, "There's no place like Acadia," and it has all these animals on it that are known to Maine and Acadia. And I like it. It's sort of vintage looking, and I don't know if you guys can see on the camera, but it has like a speckled texture. Super cute and just very outdoorsy, very Amber. So I'm really glad that she got this one. I'm happy for her. Okay, a few more edible things. I have these coconut and potato dark chocolate covered candies. These just intrigued me because I've never heard of potato candy before, but they had this one and they also had potato donuts in a couple of shops around here. So I got this pack of 2 candies to try. I love coconut and I like dark chocolate, so I think I'll like this. I also like potatoes. I've just never had them in a dessert, I don't think. But I do think I will like them in this. They look almost like a coconut macaroon, as you see there on the front. So I really don't see how it could be bad. Sticking with the blueberry theme, I got a jar of blueberry marmalade and a jar of wild blueberry syrup. This I'm planning to have on some pancakes when I get home. And the marmalade, I think we'll just have on toast, or I might go full Paddington and make like a marmalade sandwich. I also picked up this hand-painted print. Sorry about the reflection. There we go. And this is a portion of Acadia National Park. So this was painted by a local artist, and I love to get things like this. I don't think I've mentioned it before on this channel, but I do collect prints like this. I have a ton of these at home from different places I've been. So when I saw this one, I was very excited, not only because it's a hand-painted print, but also because of the shape. It's rectangular, because I like to use these for decoration, so having different shaped ones makes the collage wall that I have look very interesting. So I'm very happy with this one. Plus, I love Acadia. It was a beautiful place, so I'm glad to have this little way of remembering it. Next up, I have this little stuffed moose, which is unusual for me. I don't typically buy stuffed animals, but you guys have probably seen my stuffed lemon and my Paddington bear on my shelf back home. I've recently gotten into stuffed animals again, and I just had to get this little guy when I saw him. I mean, he is so cute. Do you guys see this face? So I picked him up. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with him yet. I thought about putting him on the dashboard of my car at home just for decoration, but He might end up on my shelf in my MRE videos, just kind of palling around and looking at you guys while I eat my MREs, so keep an eye out for him in future videos. He also needs a name, so you guys leave me some suggestions down below. Bullwinkle is out, so don't leave that one. Alright, the last thing I have to show you is this right here, which is a trio of books that I got from the Big Chicken Barn bookstore and antique place. This is the most random assortment of books. I have number 1 in the Hornblower Saga, Mr. Midshipman Hornblower by C.S. Forester. I know a lot of y'all probably know about this series already because Horatio Hornblower is just super popular. I know it is. I have never read these, but in high school, in my senior year, I had an English teacher who would play this movie for us all the time, or maybe it was a TV series. But either way, it was Horatio Hornblower, and he would just play that for us all the time instead of having real lessons. So I have watched part of the series of this, but I have never read the books. So I wanted to read the books, and I finally saw this at the Chicken Barn and decided to go ahead and pick it up. I do think I'll like this because I tend to like books about naval things, and like I said, I hear that it's pretty good. So I am looking forward to finally figuring out what is going on with Mr. Hornblower here. Next up, I got San Andreas by Alistair MacLean. If you guys watched my last reading wrap-up, you'll know that I recently read my first ever Alistair MacLean, which was Ice Station Zebra, and I really liked that one. I have been looking for some of his books since then, but the bookstores around my house do not carry any of his books that I could see, so when I saw this at the used bookstore, I had to grab it. As you can see on the front, this one also involves a ship, so I am pretty much guaranteed to like it. And last but not least, I have The Castle in the Attic, which I had never ever heard of, but honestly, I picked it up because I have a small obsession with miniature people or toys coming to life, so books like The Indian in the Cupboard, The Borrowers, things like that, I love those books. And if you see here, there's like a tiny little knight talking to this boy, so I immediately knew this was something that I was gonna like. And then on the back, it appears that our boy gets shrunk down to toy size. So basically, I love any type of story like this, and I flipped through it in the store and read a couple pages, and it sounds like it's going to be good, so I had to take this one home with me, and I'm looking forward to reading it, so look out for this in my next book video. Alright guys, that is it. That is all the souvenirs I picked up while I was in Maine. I think it's a pretty good haul, and I am very happy with all these items. I had a great trip, so I'm glad that I have these things to memorialize the trip and remember it by. Oh, I almost forgot. I did get some specimens on this trip as well. Y'all know me and my specimens. This is all stuff I picked up from beaches that are around our house. We went to several different ones. The first thing is this tiny little shell, which I'll put in a separate clip of because it looks better up close, but I like the color of this one, and it's just really small and cute, and again, I think it will look good on my shelf at home with my other belongings. Next, I have a bunch of pieces of sea glass. Again, I'll put in some clips so you guys can see them up close. I have a couple of pieces that are slightly colored. There's a couple of little blue ones, and I think this one maybe is magenta or purplish. I also got this one with an E on it, which I was very excited about because I have never found a piece of sea glass with a letter on it before. But I'm always happy to find these. I love sea glass or beach glass. I just think it is so pretty. So that is my souvenir collection officially. And then it was time to say goodbye. So here we are beginning our road trip home from Maine all the way to North Carolina. It did start off very rainy, which was a little bit gloomy, but the gloominess did not last long because our first stop was Two Maine Guys in Augusta. This was the first restaurant we ate at in Maine, and we absolutely loved it, so we made sure to stop here on the way out. I definitely miss this restaurant. I'm looking forward to going back to Maine specifically so we can eat here. This time we had quite a few different things to try. We had an order of haddock tacos, a honey garlic chicken sandwich, some sweet potato fries, and then a huge order of kitchen sink fries, which are French fries with macaroni and cheese, honey garlic chicken, and ranch dressing. And yes, it was so delicious in case you can't tell. And then it was back on the road. We had several states to get through, the first of which was New Hampshire. Then we passed on through Massachusetts and New York. I had never been to most of these states before, so it was fun to drive through them, although we did not really have time to stop. Maryland! We made it to John Denver. Overall, we had a pretty smooth drive home, though. It took a couple days, but finally we saw the North Carolina welcome sign and we were home free, and that is the end of our adventure in Maine. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to stay tuned for more adventures. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys!